Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 1996's The First Wives Club. And this was requested by Sybil on Patreon. And while we're discussing Patreon, you can join us on Patreon at Kiss the Reviews. It's only a couple of bucks. You get some really good content. You get pre-show stuff. Me and Corey laughing at how we used to dress, and you get a little glimpse into our like awful souls.
Complete dysfunction. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
It is. You know what? And to watch this train wreck, it only costs a couple of bucks.
Yeah, and also like to all those people on YouTube who are like, these guys curse a lot, and that's what's holding them back. You should watch Patreon and see what's going down there, because we've actually like censored ourselves quite a bit.
You were correct.
With that said, if you want to follow us on the social medias, you could follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Kiss the Reviews. Let's get into the cast of 1996's First Wives Club. This film stars Goldie Hawn as Elise Elliot Atchison, Bette Midler as Brenda Morelli Cushman, and Diane Keaton as Annie MacDuggan Paradis. We did start talking about this in the pre-show, but I've always had a thing going back to like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the first thing I saw Goldie Hawn in, which I think was maybe Wildcats.
Probably Laughing, you old motherfucker.
Hell yes.
But I have had a thing for Goldie Hawn forever. We talked about her in the other movie that I can't remember that you already told me about.
Death Becomes Her.
Death Becomes Her.
Christ. Which one of us is a pothead, bro?
So I know, right? But my brain is just, I've taken too many shots to the head.
Yeah, it's the too many shots, period. You're fucking going Wendy Williams on everybody right now.
A little bit. If I just stumble out of this chair, just keep going with the show.
Jesus.
But no, I've always had a thing for Goldie Hawn. I think she's hilarious. Same with Diane Keaton. I really like the uptight, but when she loses it, and we'll get to that in the review, she's hilarious. And I'm going to sound like an asshole saying this. Like, I think Bette Midler's a great actor, but she fucking annoys me. Like, and I don't have an explanation. I don't have a reason. She's just one of those. And I think it's the director's fault, because every movie she's in, they're like, let's put her in some baggy clothes. And then somewhere in the middle of the movie, we'll put her in skin, like form-fitting clothes. And you're like, oh, she's lost a ton of weight. Like, everybody wants to make Bette Midler frumpy.
Yeah, like that's why Outrageous Fortune is my favorite of Bette Midler's stuff, because she's not that. Yes. And really, some of her better movies or better performances by her are the ones where we avoid the whole Queen Latifah scenario. Yeah. Where it's like, we have to pretend you're hideous. And oh my God, you're so unattractive. Who could ever love you, Quasimodo? Like, dude, she's just wearing some fucking horrible 80s clothes.
Exactly.
And the first thing I thought when I was done watching this movie was, this is exactly what She-Devil should have been.
100%. 100%. I'm right there with you.
Everything we shit on She-Devil about is exactly why this movie worked.
Yes. Yes. And everybody that commented on how like we're awful people for not liking She-Devil, or any movie for that matter, but in this case, She-Devil, these are the reasons why we, spoiler alert, we both like this movie.
Don't you ever speak for me. I like this movie as well.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I don't know. I'm trying a new thing. I'm trying a new thing out. It didn't feel right.
Falling flat.
I rushed it. It just.
Well, let's get into this one. So, this movie opens in 1969. Annie's narrating while her and her friends graduate from college. And then it cuts to present day as we see all the women are grown up, they're divorced or in the process of getting a divorce, they're dealing with issues in their lives. And the women also find out that their friend Cynthia has committed suicide.
Yeah. Way to start a comedy off on a real shit starter. Fucking Stockard Channing just twirling pearls and fucking ripping heaters and downing a bottle of goose and then jumping off the fucking penthouse of a high rise. Like, let's start laughing.
Hell yes.
Fucking
when
assholes.
when I saw that scene, I was like, First Wives Club. I was like, it's a comedy, right? Like I totally forgot, because it's been, I don't even know how long since I've seen this movie. I totally forgot the whole plot. I thought it was just like the husbands and they're dating younger women and yada yada, and we get into the hijinks of it all.
Yeah.
This piece, I was like, don't remember this.
Yeah, no, this is a real fucking downer right off the get.
Yes, absolutely. But we do get, like, in this beginning part where they're going through like all the issues and stuff that they're dealing with. Two things that I found really funny. Like, one, the Goldie Hawn with Rob Reiner getting her lips done is fantastic. And even though I'm not a huge fan of seeing Rob Reiner on camera, his interaction with her is fantastic and goes back to my whole love for Goldie Hawn. She's not afraid to make fun of herself and the whole plastic surgery thing. She just leans into it this whole movie.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. If you're like beautiful like Goldie Hawn is, don't take yourself so seriously and you will be a lot more awesome to people. They'll stop being like, oh, she's a fucking bitch. They don't hate you because you're pretty. They hate you because you're fucking a wet blanket. You are, personality-wise, you are nothing. So shape up and be more like Goldie.
Shape up or ship out.
Yeah, you want to catch my gift, you fucking get a goddamn sense of humor.
At the funeral, Annie, Brenda, and Elise see each other after 20 years. So they go to lunch together. Elise and Brenda share all of their stories of divorce and their husbands trading them in for younger women. And Annie still pretends like everything is fine at home, even though like her and her husband are separated. He's living in a new place and yada, yada. This is also where we see the Annie and her therapist, Dr. Leslie Rosen.
Marcia Gay Harden is
she's fantastic.
Amazing in
she's
everything.
Fantastic. Yes, 100%. And
she owns everything.
And the scene with her and Diane Keaton, and she gives her like the little Nerf club to like beat her with. Like all of these are very the slapsticky scenes are fucking fantastic. Like they're so silly and they're so like over the top, but they're so spot on because she's like, Annie's so like repressed and doesn't want to say a bad word about anybody. Shit, she won't even like tell her friends that like her and her husband are getting a divorce or about to get a divorce. Like she can't admit that anything's wrong with anything. And then she just unloads on the fucking on her therapist.
I call this like Shania Twain humor. Like it's not the funniest. Not the funniest shit you're ever going to see. It's not executed the best you're ever going to see, but it's good for everybody. It's
100%.
It does the job what it's supposed to do. So
yeah,
let it play. You know what I mean?
Is that,
like that.
Did you bring up Shania Twain because I was singing it before we got on?
No, Shania Twain is constantly on my mind.
Okay.
But also, yeah.
After the scene with Annie and her therapist, we see Elise's divorce proceedings. Then we also see Brenda clothes shopping and running into her ex and his new girlfriend. And Annie then goes to dinner with her husband. And after having sex, her husband asks for a divorce. And as they argue, Annie's therapist walks in and she realizes that Dr. Rosen is banging her husband.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, guys. Uncle Corey here. So, you're an ugly troll man, and you were dating or married to and have a kid with frumpy Bette Midlers. Cool. That's awesome. When you upgrade to a Sarah Jessica Parker, like in her 20s, let's not let her badmouth the mother of your kid. How about that? I'll talk to that bitch however the fuck I want to. You skinny miss thing that I'm taking shopping, shut your fucking trap until it's time to unzip my motherfucking pants. You're welcome. Bye-bye. You don't talk to the mother. You don't talk to the mother of somebody's kids like that. You just fucking don't.
Yeah, listen.
Unless you commented us on YouTube and you happen to be a mother of somebody's kids, and I'm going to talk to you how the fuck I want.
No, this is the problem that I have with this, okay? It's not how she talks about his wife. It's not how she talks to his ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I have is I get the Bill character, right? Elise's ex. He's a producer in Hollywood or yada, yada, whatever. I even get Diane Keaton's ex. He's, big advertising executive, yada, yada. And neither one of them, for older men, I guess they're good looking. Troll Man owns an electronic. He owns a Circuit City. Okay,
yeah, he's fucking Morty from Goodfellas, bro.
He's not banging Sarah Jessica Parker. Okay, he might be getting. And by the way, he's like fucking 50 in this goddamn movie, or 55. He might be banging 40-year-old Sarah Jessica Parker. Like that's reasonable. 20-year-old Sarah Jessica Parker isn't going, ooh, the owner of a single rooftop Circuit City wants me. I'm going to totally, I get the whole money situation, but this whole fakakta, she's stop it. Stop it right there. I'm over that.
Yeah, spoilers ahead for this 40-year-old movie, but what's her face? Diane Keaton's husband in this is dating somebody else age appropriate in Marcia Gay Harden.
Yeah.
Where he was an asshole was he takes her out to dinner to ask for a divorce in public, then romances her, fucks her, and then very casually says, I love you. Can we get a divorce?
Yes.
That's super fucked up. And then, I don't know if it's gangster or twice as fucked up, but then the same bed he banged Diane Keaton in, the fucking shrink Marcia Gay Harden's supposed to show up there and they're supposed to fuck too. I'm like, yo, this guy? I don't know if I respect you or fucking loathe you.
I'm conflicted.
Yeah, I'm so conflicted. This is how Drake fans must have felt.
You were right.
The other side of that point, too, by the way, is Bill is dating another actress. He's a producer.
Yes.
That's what they're supposed to do, is date younger actresses.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's what I've been doing since I started producing. I've just been banging 20-year-old actresses left and right.
Let's face it, that's what you've been doing since you were saying that you were producing.
Yes, you can see me on Casting Couch on Pornhub right now.
But they then each receive a letter from Cynthia in the mail. They get together, they discuss whose life is worse and how each of their husbands are pieces of shit. And they create this First Wives Club and concoct a plan to get back at their husbands. So first, Annie goes to her daughter to get a job at her dad's advertising firm because she hates her dad, and now she's the plant inside her dad's advertising firm.
I'm behind revenge. We've stated that numerous times on this show. fucking go get them. These guys are pieces. There is no fucking tribal side to me where I'm like, well, I got to stick with the men. Fuck that. Tear these dickheads apart. They're all people. Every one of these guys is the worst kind of guy there is. But, and plug your ears, sensitive people that don't like when I say this, the white woman energy in forming this club, this is why nobody likes you motherfuckers right now. It's a lot.
Don't tell me what to do, and don't tell me what to say.
I can't deal with that shit. They all become woo. No 40-year-old woman or older should be a woo-hoo girl also.
Why not? Let them live their life. Let them do what they want to do.
I didn't say I'm like outlawing it. I'm not like going to walk around vigilante style. I'm like, come here, bitch.
I didn't have as much of a problem with this as you did. I was just like, well, cool, on to the next thing.
Of course not. You're never going to be honest with yourself.
Okay. But so Annie gets her daughter the job at her dad's advertising firm. Elise then goes to her ex's office and to his house and consolidates all of their assets so they can sell it and split all the profits. And at her son's bar mitzvah, Brenda's uncle Carmine gives her some info about how Morty was involved in fraud with his business. So she's starting to use and trying to find all of that information.
Yeah, and I have to say, so far, like, obviously, Goldie Hawn is Goldie Hawn. She's everybody's favorite, right? Yeah. Period. And Diane Keaton is always going to play that Diane Keaton, the strong, sensible leader of the group. Bette Midler's overall character, I really like her because the other two seem more pissed off that this has happened to them. Whereas Bette Midler's character has a little more like depth to her revenge. Like, she is brokenhearted.
Yeah, she's hurt.
Like, yeah, like she was genuinely in love, is still in love with this guy, and just can't believe that he would do this. Like, she is devastated by this, and she doesn't want to ruin him. She just wants to teach him a lesson, but ultimately she wants him back. That's her goal.
Yeah,
is to get her family back together, if for nothing else, for her son, who I thought also for a kid in this movie did a really good job. Yes. So I like her character a little bit more in this, being Bette Midler, just because it seemed like Diane Keaton was on that track. Like when she loses her fucking temper and she's screaming at the hotel at the Marcia Gay Harden and her husband, and then she leaves the room. You're like, okay, we're going to get to see now her going through like grief and like heartbreak, and it really wasn't there. She like read a sad note, twirled a couple pearls, and was like, I don't want to fucking commit suicide over a dude. Let's form a club and fuck this dude up. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Goldie Hawn was immediately on the revenge. That was very clear that there was not much love there, which I do.
Oh, absolutely.
This will be my one critique of this movie. Is I wish Goldie Hawn had a little bit of a monologue about knowing how self-absorbed she had become. Because that seemed to be a lot more of their issue than him like cheating or doing anything. It just seemed to be more about her.
Yeah.
Which is also why she disconnected with her friends and has all the face shit happening and da-da-da-da-da.
No, I hear you. Well, anyway. And on the First Wives Club, Goldie Hawn has this building that doesn't have any tenants that she owns. So they renovate like a little piece of the building just so they can have an office for their First Wives Club. And they get their friend Ganilla to help them get Morty's girlfriend, Sarah Jessica Parker, to fall for this trap to bring Eduardo Felice into her and Morty's home to decorate so the women can sneak in and find proof of fraud. And this is the scene that I'm like, okay, it was almost like this is the build up to the scene, and this is the scene is how it felt like to me. The three of them almost getting caught. Diane Keaton melting down, like her white woman meltdown. And she's fantastic.
Yes.
That uptight, like everything's got to be in order, and then just that complete freak out. She's so good at doing that. And there's obviously a few movies that she does this in, and it's amazing every single time. I find it funny every single time I see her do it.
No, I totally agree. She is a master at the, just can't take it anymore, completely erupting, Chevy Chase-esque style in Christmas Vacation, just losing your shit kind of rant. She is a master of that. And compared to, the excited, First Wives Club that I, was total opposite here. And she's being louder and more over the top. So it's not just women making noises or having emotions, which are disgusting in their own right, but not my point here. So she's so great at that. This is a good scene.
And Bronson Pinchot.
Thank you. I was about to call him Cousin Balky because I couldn't remember his goddamn name. Bronson Pinchot does such a good job, like he always does.
Thanks ever so much.
Yeah.
And I'm 90% sure Maggie Smith, who's playing the high society chick here.
Yes.
I forget, Ganache or whatever the shit her name is.
Ganilla. The Thriller from Ganilla.
I'm pretty sure she was just born this age. And just every year God added another wrinkle.
There's a few of those actors and actresses that you're like, have they been 60 for 40 years?
For real.
And you're right, she's definitely one of them. She's definitely in that bracket too. But so we get and again, after the freak out, they go down the window washing scaffolding. We have them freaking out as they go down all the way to the ground. Elise then sells Annie her ex Bill's assets at a discount so she can auction it all off and make enough money to buy her ex Aaron's advertising agency. So
I loved Goldie Hawn repossessing all the assets, being all of our assets include your shit too, buddy.
Yes.
That little twist and him being like, this is my shit. I fucking loved it.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that she sells it to Annie for a penny?
It was $1.
Or $1. Yeah, it was $1. That whole thing, because I forgot about this little twist too, because she sells it and she's like, oh, we'll auction it off. And then they rope in Shelley, Bette Midler's ex's girlfriend. They rope her into buying all the shit at auction. She buys the Ferrari and all the furniture, and he fucking flips out.
Which is a great scene in and of itself.
It's a fantastic scene.
I bought the car for you. It was only $300,000. It was a gift.
With my money you bought it. I bought me the gift.
Brenda then finds out from her son that Morty and Shelley are getting engaged. And one night at Elise's apartment, this is where, this is the one, it was one of the roasts where Nick Kroll roasts Seth Rogen. And it was they're friends, and then they're not friends, and then they're friends again. This is the scene where they all lose their shit on each other, and they just start talking shit about all the awful stuff they've done in the past. And you're a drunk, and you're a pretentious, high-strung bitch. And apparently Brenda and Bette Midler's old. You eat too many Twinkies and you shop at Walmart. You fucking poor. That's the only dig on her.
Yeah, Annie's got some real issues that need to be addressed. Yes. Obviously, Goldie Hawn has some issues.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. If you have a friend who may have a drinking problem, don't shout at them, "You're a drunk, get help!" Because that's just not healthy.
I am not a drunk! Oh, really? Let's examine the evidence. Look, all bottles.
Yeah, Corey does it to me all the time, and it doesn't work.
No. Also, it just makes you a big old hypocrite when you're like me. Like, Armando, you need help.
Yeah. Oh my God. So they get into this big fight. Annie storms out here, and we get the montage with a sad song. And they finally make up, and they come up with this new plan to get back at all their husbands. Operation Hell's Fury. So Brenda's uncle kidnaps Morty, shows him all the proof of fraud that they have. Brenda finally takes over Aaron's business. And then basically just, she's now his boss and he doesn't do anything, which they show the scene of him when she's like running his business and he's just in his office reading like an advertising magazine. I'm like, this dude got out the cleanest out of everybody. You still have a job, you still have a paycheck, your wife just owns the advertising agency, and then you just sit off in the corner in your office and you don't do shit. Like,
yeah, you have a smaller office and you're probably not going to get away with fucking a secretary. But and guess what?
Where do I sign up?
In a couple years, time's up on that shit anyway, so start getting used to it now.
Exactly.
Trust me, those lawsuits fucking hurt, Chief.
Yes. Yes, they do.
I've heard.
And I've heard. But Elise then gives her ex, Bill, all of the money she received for selling their assets, which was $1. And she also lets him know that his new leading lady is only 16 and not 21. Dun, dun, dun.
No diddy.
No doubt. So are we gonna bring up the leading lady? I'll say this. And I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now because again, I'm a drunk.
Currently, she can be seen in the First Wives Club. Please welcome, folks, Elizabeth Berkley.
The interactions between her and Goldie Hawn are really fantastic because she's obviously like, oh, like I want to be this actress. She's very vain. And she's like, oh, you'll be playing my mother. And it's basically Goldie Hawn just looking in the mirror, you know, back into when she first got into it and yada, yada. So
like, I wish for her sake, Elizabeth Berkley, because I respect you as an artist and a person, go fuck yourself, chauvinist bastard. Can't remember her name. You like them titties, though, in Showgirls. No, I wish Elizabeth Berkley would have done... I wish she would have done more like this than going that Showgirl route, just because maybe it was... I don't know the motivation. It may be money. It may have been the leading role. I don't know what. And I'm not going to pretend. But this, coming out of Saved by the Bell, was so much more her lane.
100%.
Because she did like this, she did Showgirls, and then she was like in Al Pacino's football movie, Any Given Sunday, for like 20 minutes playing a whore that accepts personal checks. Like, that's not a role you want to be in, ever.
Yabba dabba doo.
I wish she would have stayed in this lane just a little bit longer, and I think she would have had a really good comedy career.
Oh, I think so too. I think she'd be great at it. She was good in this. She was on camera quite a bit in this movie, and I didn't go gross. I did the entire fucking stripper movie. Ugh. Like she just wasn't good. And I think that was like her like, this is my serious role.
Well, like, in fairness, once an actress is on camera and she's like, I can't have sex with you. And the guy's like, why? And she's like, because I'm on my period. And he's like, bullshit. And she's like, look. I think that kind of taints your target audience for the most part. Because that's never left my mind. Ever. Ever.
That's fair. That's fair. But the women here then give their exes the First Wives Club card and tell them to show up at their office. And once the guys are at the office, the women make the men pay to completely renovate their First Wives Club offices, and they turn it into the Cynthia Swan Crisis Center for Women. And the end of this movie is the opening of said crisis center with appearances from Ed Koch and Ivana Trump. And Annie narrates the end, and we find that Brenda and Morty are reconciling. Annie told Aaron to kick rocks when he wanted to get back together. And Elise is doing theater now. She's very happy, and she's dating one of the co-stars. And then we close with the musical number.
Quick note, if you watch this on Amazon like I did, the little x-ray thing that pops up, it said Ivana Trump's line.
And remember, what? Don't get mad. Get everything.
Yeah.
Is literally the reason she's buried underneath the 10th tee box at fucking Trump's New Jersey golf club. Fact. He's like, I'll get even.
Is that a real fact, or is that a Corey fact?
What's the difference? I'm confused now. I'm very confused. No, the musical number was funny too. I like that. That was cute. I'm just like, ugh. What I do think is funny is it's like, let's do a musical number at the end, and Bette Midler's not singing the lead.
I know, right?
Every time she's just stepped up, it's like, oh, that's a real singer. You are actors that can sing on stage. Big fucking difference.
100%. 100%.
Overall, man, I really like this movie. I would caution people, though, like, if you're opening up a crisis center for women, maybe not party your dicks off at the grand opening.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
I was going to say.
Battered women got a shelter now. Battered women got a shelter now.
Well, that was my question. That was my question, was like, okay, I'm being real here. Mm-hmm. I've never been to a grand opening of a women's shelter. Okay. So I don't know how these typically go.
Pick up chicks.
I don't know.
That and abortion clinics are my two favorite places on the planet. It's like Disneyland for a cocksman like myself.
But I don't know what grand openings for these types of places are. But like, you got just shellfish as far as the eye can see, and champagne's flowing, and like.
Which is fucked up because half the people at this thing are Jewish. It's like, they can't eat fucking shellfish. What are you doing? Have some fucking respect.
I was like, for really? Okay, not for nothing, but Cynthia, much like Goldie Hawn's character, Cynthia was a drunk, smoked too much, drank too much, and committed suicide because she was, in a loveless relationship. Her husband left her, whatever the case was with her.
R.I.P.
So. So you're gonna open the crisis center with booze all over the place? Like, it just, I don't know. It didn't seem right to me. It seemed like they were tainting Cynthia's memory with the booze.
I think this was a genius maneuver to throw a gigantic fucking party, because now, like, subservient women who are used to getting yelled at or hit are gonna come up after the party, and you can just be like, clean this fucking shit up and walk the fuck away. It's fucking brilliant. That place is really just a club, bro, and they got free janitorial staff.
It's great marketing. And I get the whole Ivana thing in here too, obviously.
Sure.
Take all his money, whatever. Like, I get all that. Ed Koch? We're just throwing Ed Koch into movies. Like, why is Ed Koch at the opening of this crisis center?
Because Rudy Giuliani can't come out during daylight shooting hours.
His hair color hadn't set yet. But no, like, I was just like, some random dude was like, hey, is that Ed Koch down the street? They were like, yeah, Ed, want to come in this movie? No lines. I think he just goes, he eats something. He goes, quick cut. It's a 4-second scene. Doesn't need to be in there.
He had lines and they cut all of them. I'm pretty sure this was like a requirement under the Koch administration. Like, if you're going to shoot something in New York, The mayor's showing up. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, dude, this is a good movie. This is a good throwback. Thanks, Sybil, for the request on Patreon. Only a couple dollars. But no, I haven't seen this movie. God, it's been at least 25 years since I've seen this. Still good, still holds up. Like everything was funny, and it was funny in all the ways that, to your point about She-Devil, that She-Devil wasn't funny or we didn't like it. This was funny and good in all the right ways. Like She-Devil tried it, and then they went, hold my beer, and then they wrote this script and did this movie.
Yeah, She-Devil's problem was they couldn't figure out how to balance the absurd with reality.
Yes.
And I think this movie was able to do that by toning down the absurdity. All of these like revenge plots are very real world. You know what I'm like? Nobody's going like to extra lengths and
let's blow up the house.
Crew and blowing up the house and killing the mom or whatever the fuck happens in that shitty movie. Like, just like I got a mole removed. I'm a whole new person. It's fucking that movie sucks. So yeah, everything about this movie worked.
Yeah.
It just worked. The cast is obviously fucking brilliant. These are three powerhouse actors.
Yes.
That can lead any movie in their own right, let alone together, which is also really good because they all know how to share the stage well with each other.
Yes,
there was no competition. There wasn't a me getting mine. Everybody had their shtick, and they all stuck to it. Like, even the way they shot Bette Midler when she made jokes was more of that old school Catskill of like way of doing it, and then Goldie Hawn had the more modern kind of like what, like the shock.
Yeah,
and Diane Keaton, of course, had her freak out moments. So even the way that the director chose to shoot the different styles of comedy from these women was just, it set them apart, but kept them together. It did a really good job. I surprisingly, as much as I hate white women, and don't get me wrong, kids, there is nary a minority face in this motherfucking movie. Don't look for that. This is 90s high society New York. They did not allow your kind in there. I'm sorry. It was regrettable. Generational wealth hadn't made it that far yet. But
no.
That being said, for a overwhelming cast of white women, I found this movie to be quite enjoyable.
Which is a surprise from me. So
I could just be super high.
I didn't expect you to like this. I was like, too many white women for Corey's liking. But that's all I got. Do you got anything else?
No, I got nothing, man. Go white women. Now I see why you're allowed to vote.
For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1996's The First Wives Club.